Hold on tight, because Hollywood's glittering mask just shattered in the messiest way possible. Brandi Maxiell, in a jaw-dropping Instagram Live, ripped the curtain off Doug Christie's darkest secrets, exposing a betrayal so savage it left Jackie Christie's world in ashes. What started as whispers of gossip erupted into a roaring scandal, the fallout nothing short of catastrophic. Brandi dropped revelations so outrageous, so cinematic, they felt pulled from a twisted Hollywood script. Doug, while parading as the picture-perfect husband, was busy draining Jackie's accounts, siphoning millions without her even knowing. But the money heist was only the opening act. Emotional mind games, psychological abuse, secret affairs, and backroom deals. Doug's double life has officially blown wide open. Jackie, once untouchable, now stands broken under the public glare. Within hours, the internet went wild. Millions tuned in to witness her private heartbreak morph into a viral spectacle. Tears streamed, her face carved with betrayal, as receipts of her own life got weaponized against her. Fans, media, and insiders reeled in shock, asking the question no one wants to face. How does the person closest to you orchestrate such complete destruction? Complete destruction! And yet, the drama doesn't quit here. Brandi Maxiell's bombshell came packed with leaked recordings, confidential emails, and secret messages mapping out Doug Christie's years of lies and shady hookups, tearing apart every last thread of trust. Now the world waits, popcorn in hand, to see if Jackie Christie can claw her way back or crumble under the weight of betrayal. This isn't just scandal, it's tragedy, greed, and heartbreak wrapped into one. What Brandi revealed isn't gossip, it's a seismic jolt shaking everything you thought you knew about Doug and Jackie. And the fallout has only just begun. It all kicked off on a night destined to rewrite Hollywood's perfect couple fairy tale. With icy calm and unshakable delivery, Brandi hit go live, locking the world's eyes on secrets designed to stay buried forever. Millions tuned in, eyes glued as whispers morphed into brutal reality. The revelations hit like lightning, burning illusions to ash and exposing betrayal so vicious it gutted Jackie's life to the core. Brandi didn't tease or suggest, she went in with precision, dropping proof that left no room for denial. Doug Christie's deceit, and Brandi exposed it with surgical precision, evidence so sharp it sliced through every excuse, leaving no room for doubt. For years, Doug had run a polished double life, manipulating Jackie Christie's trust, while scrubbing away every trace of his schemes. The numbers alone were jaw-dropping. Millions funneled out of Jackie's accounts without her knowledge, masked by financial tricks so calculated they screamed cold-blooded exploitation. But the money grab? That was just Act 1. Doug's betrayal went miles deeper than dollar signs. Brandi painted the nightmare with chilling clarity behind closed doors. Doug waged psychological warfare, twisting Jackie's mind until the woman, once seen as fearless and untouchable, was cornered by the man she trusted most. Every smile on red carpets, every handhold in front of cameras, was nothing but a cover for a tangled mess of lies, affairs, and manipulation now unraveling for all to see. And Brandi didn't stop at stories. She rolled out screenshots, secret recordings, and leaked emails tracking Doug's every dirty move. Private conversations, broken promises, shattered alliances suddenly blasted into the spotlight for millions to witness, laid bare for an audience that could hardly believe their own screens. The evidence was brutal, undeniable, and catastrophic. The exact moment Jackie Christie's world imploded was caught by social media and bystanders, flooding timelines within hours. Millions watched the once composed Jackie unravel into heartbreak, her face pale, strained, carved by betrayal. Tears streamed as she clutched her head, replaying Doug Christie's calls in disbelief. Every sob a reminder of the damage done. Brandi Maxiell's revelations made it clear. The life Jackie thought she lived was built on lies. Fans sat speechless, while comment sections erupted in chaos, rage, shock, and sympathy clashing all at once. Analysts and insiders wasted no time calling it one of Hollywood's most explosive scandals in years. Doug, once hailed as trustworthy, was now cemented as the face of treachery, and the public refused to look away. And Brandi wasn't done. She revealed Doug's betrayal went beyond money and heartbreak, cutting deeper into Jackie's most personal boundaries. Also crossed into her deepest personal boundaries. Doug Christie had allegedly dug into sensitive family documents, private conversations, and confidential files meant to stay locked away. Every secret Jackie Christie held, every intimate detail of her life, was twisted into ammunition in his calculated game of control and dominance. The fallout was staggering. Jackie's credibility, her image, her very identity shredded in front of the world. Admirers who once praised her strength now watched her unravel, confronted by a raw vulnerability she had always kept hidden behind her polished public face. The world saw a woman stripped of her armor, crushed by the cruelest turns of fate, forced to navigate betrayal and exposure on a brutal stage. And Brandi Maxiell revealed it didn't stop there. Doug's deception had seeped into Jackie's inner circle. Friends once trusted were unknowingly manipulated, allies reduced to pawns, and family secrets dragged into the open. The ripple effects reached far beyond Jackie, transforming her private tragedy into a viral cautionary tale about trust, deceit, and the ugly truth hiding behind Hollywood's glossy facades. What made the revelation even more brutal was its timing. Doug Christie's years of careful plotting, hidden strategies, and meticulous cover-ups were finally torched by Brandi Maxiell's persistence and nerve. Leaked recordings, damning emails, and first-hand accounts painted a nightmare so vivid it erased all doubt. Hollywood's elite, who usually shrugged at scandal, were left stunned at the sheer audacity and scale of the exposure. And as the night rolled on, each bombshell topped the last, leaving audiences online and off in stunned silence, struggling to process the full weight of Doug's betrayals. Brandi's delivery was razor-sharp, steady, and relentless. Her voice, carrying the weight of every ugly truth she unleashed, she laid bare the manipulations, the covert affairs, the insidious ways Doug maintained his grip while parading as the picture of loyalty and love. Meanwhile, Jackie Christie faced an emotional tsunami. Cameras captured trembling hands, a quivering voice, and eyes drowning in tears. The life she'd spent decades building was unraveling in hours, and social media didn't wait. Clips of her breakdown spread like wildfire, dominating timelines, fueling and turning her private devastation into Hollywood's latest viral spectacle, fueling endless debates and lighting a firestorm of outrage. This wasn't private pain anymore. It was a viral spectacle with millions glued to the collapse of one of Hollywood's most polished facades. Brandi Maxiell's revelations sparked questions about accountability. Could Jackie Christie ever reclaim what was stolen? Would Doug Christie actually face consequences for fraud, emotional abuse, and betrayal? And the biggest question of all, how many more secrets are still rotting under Hollywood's glossy surface, waiting for another fearless whistleblower to drag them into the light? The public, already hooked on the drama, demanded answers, and Brandi had dropped a shockwave built to echo for months, maybe years. The emotional force of that night was unmatched. From stolen money to twisted mind games, the portrait painted was one of a life methodically torn apart from the inside. Jackie's breakdown, immortalized in viral clips, became the symbol of betrayal's brutal cost, striking a chord with millions who felt her heartbreak in real time. Shock, anger, disbelief, the audience lived every moment with her. And by the time Brandi's live ended, one thing was carved in stone: nothing would ever be the same. Doug's carefully crafted image wasn't just cracked, it was been obliterated, leaving Jackie Christie to gather the broken pieces of a life flipped upside down overnight. The scandal, now viral, carried every hallmark of a Hollywood tragedy: deception, heartbreak, exposure, and the brutal human cost of truths dragged into the light. What started as a private revelation spiraled into a global circus. Social feeds exploded, news outlets scrambled, and fans argued non-stop about loyalty, betrayal, and the glossy lies of the rich and famous. Through raw audacity, Brandi Maxiell forced the world to face a truth long swept under the rug. Jackie, though shattered, now found herself cast as the centerpiece of a narrative destined to redefine her forever. This wasn't just another scandal, it was a saga of greed, manipulation, and devastation. So wild, even Hollywood veterans were left speechless. And as the night closed, one fact stood tall: the fallout had barely begun. A viral saga the world won't soon forget, not be erased. The morning after Brandi Maxiell's bombshell, Hollywood woke up to a landscape forever altered. Doug Christie's carefully polished reputation, once tied to power and influence, lay in ashes, exposed in a way no one saw coming. The leaks, the emails, the recordings, the insider confessions weren't just evidence. They were a damning portrait of a man living a meticulously staged lie, now ripped wide open. Brandi's boldness had sparked a wildfire, and the flames were spreading faster than anyone could contain. Meanwhile, Jackie Christie, still stunned from the night before, was forced to face the brutal reality of her shattered life. Cameras followed her every move, every tremble, every blank stare, every trace of disbelief, as her private betrayal turned into a worldwide spectacle. Once untouchable, Jackie now stood as the face of heartbreak and raw vulnerability. Her social media feeds flooded instantly: sympathy, blame, and endless dissections of Doug's treachery. Every public statement, every memory, every scrap of trust she'd placed in him had been flipped into a weapon against her. The impact was immediate, vicious, and unrelenting. Doug Christie's manipulation wasn't confined to Jackie's wallet or emotions, it slithered straight into her inner circle. Friends who once stood as allies were revealed to be unknowingly tangled in Doug's secret web. Covert messages, buried contracts, and shady side deals painted him as a man addicted to control, deception, and exploitation. The shocks just kept hitting, leaving audiences across the globe reeling. Sight. But the money trail was just the beginning. Jackie's reputation, her credibility, and the very foundation of her trust had all been hijacked, dismantled, and stolen, cataloged, and turned into a weapon. Watching the nightmare play out in real time, the public felt the crushing weight of her tragedy. And as the scandal snowballed, industry insiders started to weigh in, some calling it unprecedented, others warning it was only the start of Hollywood's darkest unraveling. Analysts called Doug Christie's schemes unprecedented in both scale and audacity, admitting that Hollywood had rarely seen deceit this calculated. The psychological toll on Jackie Christie was devastating. Friends described her as shattered, disoriented, and betrayed, struggling to grasp how the life she thought was built on trust had been quietly dismantled piece by piece. Videos of her breakdowns spread like wildfire across social media. And just when the world thought the worst had been uncovered, Doug's clandestine communications with players outside Jackie's closest circle, showing how he built hidden networks to control perception, twist narratives, and silence opposition. Every interaction she thought was her own had been under Doug's manipulation. The world watched in horror as the scale of his double life came into focus, saw reality engineered through deceit and coercion, now ripped open for all to see. The emotional weight skyrocketed when Jackie's own associates stepped forward, backing Brandi's claims and adding chilling new layers to an already devastating betrayal. Stories of blackmail, secret flings, and calculated isolation that painted a nightmare image of a woman trapped by the man she trusted most. Each new confirmation, every fresh leak, disclosures raised heavy legal and ethical alarms. Financial fraud, emotional abuse, privacy violations, even breaches of confidentiality. Soon, investigators and attorneys were weighing in. Though broken, now stood on a path that could lead her toward justice and rebuilding her life. Yet the emotional toll was undeniable. Every new day dragged in fresh pressure, shocking revelations, and unrelenting public scrutiny. Audiences stayed glued to their screens as Brandi rolled out more proof, screenshots of secret contracts, hidden bank statements, and private messages mapping Doug's manipulations over years. Each post, each video, each drop of evidence wasn't just meant to inform, it was crafted to shock, to scorch, and to spark outrage. This narrative wasn't only about deceit. It was a tragedy of epic proportions, a story striking anyone who's ever tasted betrayal, loss, or shattered trust. As ours blurred into days, the scandal's magnitude came into full, brutal focus. Jackie Christie's life had been invaded, manipulated, and weaponized in ways unimaginable. The world watched as her polished public image disintegrated into a raw, gut-wrenching reality where trust was demolished, betrayal dragged into the open, and consequences unavoidable. Brandi Maxiell's audacity had ripped the truth into daylight, and there was no rewinding the damage. The emotional wreckage was matched blow for blow by a viral storm. Media outlets scrambled, commentators clashed, and social platforms became battlegrounds of outrage, sympathy, and wild speculation. Jackie's fans, once secure in her image, were forced to grapple with her heartbreak, her devastation, and the revelations that rewrote her story. Meanwhile, Doug Christie was buried under an unrelenting storm. Every weak attempt to defend or explain himself drowned out by skepticism and scorn. The narrative was spiraling toward a crescendo, making it clear that what had surfaced was only a sliver of the truth. Every viewer felt the crushing weight of the drama, the heartbreak, the raw exposure of a life gutted by deceit. Social media feeds exploded, hashtags blazed, and the scandal bulldozed its way into pop culture, impossible to ignore. The point of no return had been reached. Jackie Christie, emotionally shattered, now faced a reality where the very ground beneath her life had been ripped apart. Doug Christie, unmasked as a manipulator, liar, and betrayer, was drowning under relentless scrutiny, and Brandi Maxiell, armed with audacity and fire. This wasn't just exposure, it was tragedy wrapped in spectacle, a cautionary tale of control, betrayal, and heartbreak. And as the world looked on, one truth became impossible to deny. Nothing would ever be the same. Not for Jackie, not for Doug, and not for the millions who had been dragged into this emotional, high-voltage saga. The fallout from Brandi's revelations had hit an unprecedented fever pitch. Hollywood was on fire, social media drowning in chaos, and Jackie Christie's life was ripped apart in the most public, humiliating way imaginable. Doug Christie, once cloaked in influence and power, now stood naked under the full glare of exposure. Every lie, every scheme, every carefully hidden secret he had built over years was flipped into ammunition for the world to dissect. The devastation was beyond measure. Brandi Maxiell, relentless in her pursuit, dropped the final receipts, recordings, and messages so damning they erased any lingering doubt. These weren't slips or casual mistakes. They were premeditated, meticulously engineered plots designed to wreck Jackie's personal life, loot her financial security, and crush her public image. In the recordings, Doug's own voice betrayed his arrogance, his manipulation, and his total disregard for the woman he once paraded as his great love. Across the globe, viewers sat stunned as his carefully crafted persona disintegrated in real time. Meanwhile, Jackie faced the ultimate test of survival cameras, catching her raw, unfiltered breakdown as tears streamed and the full horror of Doug's betrayal came crashing into focus. Deceit, financial exploitation, emotional games, secret affairs, and a ruthless invasion of her private life. Every clip, every leaked message, every insider confession built a chilling portrait of a life systematically sabotaged. The weight was crushing, yet through the heartbreak, Jackie Christie's raw humanity still cut through. The world reacted with shock and fury. Millions dissected every shred of Brandi Maxiell's revelations. From Doug's shady money moves to his secret liaisons, social media erupted, hashtags flooded feeds, and news outlets scrambled to chase the chaos. Fans argued, critics picked apart details, and insiders whispered about the depth of deception. The scandal hit viral velocity, sending ripples through every corner of Hollywood. But the heartbreak was just getting started. Jackie's inner circle, once her fortress, was already compromised. Friends revealed buried messages. Confidants admitted to being pawns, and the public finally saw how deep Doug's betrayal cut. Jackie's trust had been weaponized, her closest bonds poisoned, and her very sense of identity thrown into question. It was more than scandal, it was psychological warfare, executed with precision, and the world gawked in horrified fascination. Brandi Maxiell's courage became the headline itself. Her boldness in exposing Doug Christie not only ripped open hidden truths, but also gave Jackie Christie the strength to finally face the reality she'd been denied for years. With leaked recordings, insider testimonies, and digital proof, Brandi dismantled Doug's carefully crafted facade, revealing the ruthless man behind the mask. The audacity of his deceit left the public stunned. While Jackie's raw suffering made the story impossible to look away from, Doug's half-baked attempts at damage controls, taintments, interviews, excuses were instantly drowned out by the tidal wave of evidence, leaving him ridiculed, shredded by critics, and staring down legal fire. Analysts buzzed about lawsuits, criminal charges, and financial restitution, all backed by Brandi's airtight receipts. Each revelation only fueled the viral fire, keeping millions locked in, emotionally invested in Jackie's fight to claw back her life. At the heart of the frenzy was a human tragedy impossible to shake. Jackie Christie's world, reduced to rubble in front of everyone, world once polished, stable, and tightly controlled, was torn down piece by piece. The public watched Jackie Christie stumble through the wreckage of her life, betrayed by the one man she trusted most. As the scandal snowballed, more insiders came crawling out of the shadows. Former employees, friends, and even casual acquaintances stepped up with stories confirming Doug Christie's secret life. Each account added depth to the horror, exposing years of exploitation, manipulation, and control. The web of deceit, once carefully hidden, collapsed under the weight of Brandi's revelations, leaving only the raw, unfiltered truth. Audiences were floored by the scale of betrayal and the emotional wreckage it unleashed. Jackie's credibility and image took a brutal hit. Viral clips of her breakdown, paired with Brandi's relentless disclosures, raced across the internet. Comments, debates, and hot takes exploded on every platform, morphing the scandal into more than just gossip, became a cultural lightning rod. Sympathy, outrage, and condemnation collided, making Jackie's tragedy both a cautionary tale and an emotional spectacle that no one could look away from. The climax slammed down when Brandi Maxiell unleashed a damning compilation tying Doug Christie to years of orchestrated deceit. Emails, recordings, and photos mapped out the full extent of his scheme's financial exploitation. Psychological manipulation, secret affairs, all documented with surgical precision. The evidence was irrefutable, leaving Doug cornered with no excuses and the public staring at the raw, unfiltered betrayal. The shock was total, the tragedy undeniable, and the viral blast unprecedented. Yet in the wreckage, Jackie Christie, though shattered, emerged as a symbol of resilience and humanity. Her vulnerability, caught on camera, stood in sharp contrast to Doug's treachery, underscoring the devastating cost of betrayal. Audiences worldwide were glued to every leak, every insider confirmation, every shred of proof, each one piling on to the relentless storm. This was no ordinary scandal. It was viral, visceral, and tragically human. And as the curtain fell on Part 3, the aftermath was crystal clear. Doug's empire of lies lay in ruins, fully exposed, while Jackie Christie's life has been permanently scarred, and Brandi Maxiell's revelations have set a new bar for both courage and viral chaos. This scandal won't just fade, it will be studied, dissected, and remembered as one of Hollywood's most shocking betrayals. A saga of emotional wreckage, calculated manipulation, and unexpected resilience. Not just gossip but tragedy, theater, and viral spectacle fused into one. A story that stuns, shatters hearts, and leaves audiences drained yet desperate for every new piece of truth dragged into the light. Jackie may rebuild, Doug will face consequences, and Brandi has secured her place as the whistleblower who stripped away illusions and revealed a darkness no one imagined. But the story isn't over. Viewers are left on edge, anticipating the next chapter. Every insider leak hints at more revelations to come, promising ripple effects across Hollywood and beyond. This is betrayal at its peak. Heartbreak weaponized and viral-level drama carved into history, and now the world waits for the moment that will define Jackie Christie's future and Doug Christie's legacy forever. Jackie Christie's life and Doug Christie's legacy are now rewritten forever. This isn't just scandal, it's tragedy on full display. A viral firestorm and a wake-up call for anyone watching. Jackie's world is in ruins, her trust stolen, her privacy obliterated. The question that lingers, can she rise from the ashes, or is this devastation permanent? Doug, stripped bare for manipulation, deceit, and betrayal, is trapped under the full glare of public scrutiny. No more hiding, no excuses, no clever spin. Brandi Maxiell's evidence, emails, recordings, insider confessions has left everything out in the open. And the truth. It's brutal. Doug's trail of destruction is undeniable. Heartbreak, broken relationships, financial ruin, all stamped with his name. Jackie's fans, her supporters, the entire world, they're watching. And now it's their moment to rally. Share the story, amplify her pain, and make sure betrayal on this scale never slips into silence. Every click, every share, every comment forces accountability, holding manipulators to the fire. And as for Doug Christie, this is your reckoning. The public won't forget. Doug Christie. The mask is gone, the world has seen the real you, and there's no crawling back from the emotional wreckage you left behind. Yet, in the middle of all this heartbreak, a spark of hope still burns. Jackie Christie's resilience, her courage to stare betrayal in the face and fight back, is inspiring millions. And Brandi Maxiell's audacity to drag buried secrets into the light proves one thing. Truth always claws its way to the surface. So don't just watch, be part of it. Like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this story everywhere. Don't let the noise die down. The world deserves the truth. Jackie deserves justice. And Doug deserves to be remembered for the wreckage he created. Stay locked in, because this fallout is far from finished. And the next revelations, they'll shake you even harder.